You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Juniors podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. It's myself, Mooncey, alongside me as always, the three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong. BJ, how's it going out there over on the West Coast?
Oh, it's going great, man. No problems, no complaints. I haven't said this in quite a while. Real name, no gimmicks.
Okay,
So
we back. Oh,
I'm
we
getting
really
back.
back. We
I'm
really
getting
back
back. I'm
now.
getting back. I'm getting back. I'm rounding back into, you know, you know, getting in back into the right conditioning,
Yeah. You missed training camp this year. I've been ready from day one. It took you a couple took you a week to get settled into the season. How about that? It was
I
me and Scott holding
understand.
down the training camp this year.
Yes, you guys have been. So, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's talk a little bit about the NBA as we do over here. I heard a really interesting interview from Coach Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
And that we early on the a couple of weeks ago on the show, I asked you and Scott if you could change one rule in the NBA, what would it be? They asked the same question to Mr. Mazzulla, and there were two answers that he had. The first one was to institute something that he called a power play. And he said after a technical foul or after a transition take foul, you should be allowed to play 5-on-4 for a certain duration of time, whether that be the first 10 seconds of a possession or whatever it might be, to actually give your team a real advantage that was obviously not gained by the other team committing a violation. What would you feel about that?
It's interesting. I would like to hear the interview. I don't see any way possible. I'm trying to
So it's
envision, if
like,
you
for
will.
example, if I'm on the Celtics and you're on the Pistons, right? And I get a steal, you foul me in transition take foul, which is usually, a free throw and then possession again. But what he's saying is, I get my free throw, but then when the possession restarts, you have to be stood on the sidelines for the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever it is of that possession before you can come back onto the court. This is something that they have in rugby. They call it the sin bin, where if you get was it a yellow card or a red card, you're out of the game for 10 minutes. Obviously, it wouldn't be 10 minutes in the NBA context, but it gives the team an advantage. And I'm pretty sure they have this in hockey as well. But basketball is one of the few sports that doesn't have a so-called power play. I think even football, like normal football, not whatever you guys play over there, it has a blue card now, where you're sent to the sidelines for a duration of time to give the other team an advantage. So, do you think that would feasibly work in the NBA?
I don't see a scenario that I can envision why that would be necessary. I think I think they have that one right. You
Yeah.
if there is a foul, you get two free throws and you get the possession. Playing for what, 10 seconds or 15 seconds, 5-on-4. I don't
I
know
think
about
Joe
that.
just wants the open three. I think Joe just wants to
Yeah.
go 5 out and get the open three. Like we all
Yeah,
know what he's trying to do.
I don't see that scenario. However, you know, as a coach, as a head coach, interesting, but I don't see that. I don't see how that improves the game.
Well, he had another rule change that he wanted to implement. He
Okay.
wants to allow fighting in the NBA. He says, why do baseball and hockey allow their players to clear the benches and get involved in what's happening on the court when they actually have bats and weapons? Basketball, you don't. So you're robbing the fans of entertainment by not allowing them to see some level of physicality amongst players.
I would have to read that. I don't.
That's I'm
Who's
quoting what he said.
no? Well, okay. Well, playing in an era where there was fighting. Okay. Where it was just a common foul. You could fight whatever. No, I'm not an advocate of that. What I do believe though, there should be the game cleans itself up when you call your own fouls. Okay. And what's interesting now in playing and watching both eras is the reaction when you do get fouled. When someone hard fouled you in that era, you didn't say, "Hey, ref." You said, "Hey, Mo." You know what I mean, Mo? Like,
Yeah.
talk to the guy that actually fouled you. you know,
But if you do that
that
now, they're going to give you a technical.
yes, then that's where I'm a little bit, when you play in the summertime, you play on the playgrounds. At least we didn't play with referees. Now, when you watch the guys play, there's a referee every time they play.
That ain't a real pickup run.
It's just calling it like it
I
is.
don't respect that.
However, I think the game would clean itself up if you clean it up with the person who committed the foul. So I don't think, it's an automatic technical and you're thrown out for saying, "Hey Mo, I didn't appreciate that level of foul. You hit me in the head. You guy whacks you in the head. I didn't turn around and be like, "Hey, it's a two-shot foul." I didn't say that. I turned around and we talked it out. So I think there's a level of respect that you have when if someone hits you, there's a possibility that guy could hit you back. Now, I think the game automatically cleans itself up.
Mm.
You don't hide behind the rules, you don't hide behind the officials, and then all of a sudden, you take away, for instance, I was just talking about someone. I was just talking to an old, one of us old guys. We talk, and he said, "Hey B, how would you react? You know how guys, the offense now just bullies into the defense?" And I thought, I don't know how I would really take that because I've never played where the offense is more aggressive than the defense.
Yeah.
Like the offensive players now, they initiate the contact and they get the call nine
Yeah.
times out
You
of
can't
10.
do anything about it.
So I don't know how that, but what I do know is if someone hits you and you hit that person back like that, somehow it would clean itself up because I can assure you this: people aren't going to be running into like certain people who it's not going to tolerate that. And we all know who the guys are. Like, okay, I'm not going. That guy might be, you're not going
I'm
to
gonna
hit
leave
this guy.
Draymond alone.
And then the game would clean itself up. Now you're just seeing everyone plow into the defense, and it puts, in my opinion, it puts the defense at a significant
Yeah,
disadvantage in the way the
significant.
game is played and the way it's refereed. And that would be something that I would want to clean up the game. I'm not really interested in just changing the game, but I am interested in cleaning up the game to where you make it, where everyone is on an equal playing field, if you will. But
Absolutely.
that's one rule I would really, really fight with if I were in the league today.
I do hear it, and it's a great point because especially stuff like the rip through move. When an offensive player sees a
Yeah,
defender
yeah,
with an
yeah.
outstretched arm and then they automatically
Or
rip through,
just
they're
be
not even trying to shoot.
trying to
They're
shoot.
just trying to bait the foul. And I get the argument of, oh, they know the rules, and so but no, that's not a basketball play. You're trying to bait a foul, and I just think that's pathetic. But what do
Right,
I know?
right, right.
Actually, one funny thing I forgot to talk about over the weekend. Did you see the statue of D Wade that they built in Miami?
Yes.
And it's actually Antoine Walker's face on D Wade's body.
Congratulations to D Wade. Congratulations to the Miami Heat. Dwyane Wade being a kid from Chicago, and what an amazing career. So congratulations to him and his family. And hey, Dwayne, at least what I read, he supervised the entire process. So he was there from start to finish, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great, and I can't wait to see it in person. And what is it, Dwayne Wade Boulevard now
Yeah, yeah, he's
down
got a street
there?
named after him, which is pretty
So
cool.
that's great. Yep, that is great.
I want to let the city of Detroit know I will not be visiting until there is a BJ Armstrong. What do you want? Avenue, street, boulevard? What would you go for?
If there were anything, I want to have a place where the fans would come to celebrate.
Celebrating
That's
what? Because they
celebrate.
celebrating the Pistons.
No, no, it's what I'm saying. If they were to say, hey, what would you want? A statue.
Oh, you want as in you want to throw a party for the people?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were talking about
Like,
building it like building an event center to celebrate. No,
no,
because
no,
Pistons ain't
no,
celebrating
no,
for a while.
no.
But
Like, like outside of the like for instance, like when you go to the game, okay, like say if you and I were going to the game, we have to have a meetup place, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I always and I like this because most of the guys that have these statues in these arenas, it's always weird because I knew those people.
yeah,
I'm used to going to a statue and like who is this person? And I'll look and I'll read. Oh, I didn't know.
yeah.
Now when I
But
go and I see these statues, I go, okay, God, that's like I've played with him. Oh yeah, I played against. It's always odd to me because
yeah,
I so it's odd to me, and I'm old enough. But one of the things I love to do is when I hear people say, "Hey, I'll meet you by the Magic Johnson statue," and I always laugh to myself. I was like, "God, that's pretty cool that now you're kind of part of people's vocabulary or mindset. Hey, I'll meet you by especially in LA. You've been to Lake. I mean, they have
yeah,
like
yeah. You got
20
the Shaq
statues out there.
statue. You got the
They got
Magic.
yeah,
You got
that's right, to
Kareem.
the
Yeah, you got
Kareem,
everyone.
and they got everyone. They got a Kobe statue. They got and you have meeting points. And I thought if I was, they asked me what I want. I just want the destination where everyone comes to
Mm,
hang out.
I hear it.
There's destinations. There's a play like there's a play. Remember when Toronto had their run and
Yeah,
everyone would
Jurassic
watch the
Park.
game? Yeah, like you just want to be
I
like
hear it. Yeah,
I just want to be where the people come to celebrate.
yeah,
That because it's about the people. I've always found I was always humbled to think that 20,000 people would show up to watch us play.
yeah,
I was like, these people could be anywhere. And who are these people? But they committed to coming there. And I know they're booing, especially when you're on the road. But I always felt a level of respect that,
yeah.
like they boo.
They wouldn't boo you if you're a scrub.
Yeah. And
You
there
know what I
was
mean? Like you only boo players when you know it's like a rivalry or like it's going
and
to
I
be a
and
little bit of bad blood or whatever.
I always think that, yeah, I was like, God, what did these people do where they committed to being here at this time?
Yeah,
And they're in tune to the game. They're cheering for their team. They're booing against the visiting team. And so I would love to say, hey, that's Armstrong's, I don't know, army or whatever. I don't know whatever he said, but I would love to have an area where people just come to celebrate and everyone knows that's the feel good center because that's what being a
BJ's feel good
fan.
center. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where you go to feel good. You know what I
That's
mean? Like,
crazy.
no, I
So let
would,
me
I
ask you this. Let
would.
me ask you this though.
Yes.
Out of all the players currently playing in the NBA, who do you think gets a statue when their career is done and where?
Well, I think Steph for sure.
100% Steph. But
Yeah.
do you think Draymond and Clay also get statues in Golden State? Will there be one of like the three of them together?
I think there will be something. I think there will be something. Maybe, but I think Steph for sure. Um, I mean, all three of them, what they mean to that organization and what they've done. I mean, certainly you can make the argument. I don't know the criteria.
There isn't one. There is no set
Yeah,
criteria. Do
yeah.
you
I don't
think
know what they're.
LeBron will get one in Cleveland? Do you think he'll get one in Miami? And do you think he'll get one with the Lakers?
I don't think he will play long enough to get one with the Lakers. I don't know. The Lakers have such a high standard when you think of Kareem, Shaq,
Multiple
Kobe,
championships. Unless he wins the
you
championship
know,
this year, then he might. But
Jerry West. I mean, I mean, there's some, you know, does Wilt have it? No, Wilt doesn't have a statue there. Wilt Chamberlain. Um, I mean, it's just LA. It just has such a high standard, but I think for sure in Cleveland,
yeah, Wilt has one in
Miami.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think LeBron for sure in Cleveland. Debatable, what he'll get if he'll get one in LA, but I think for Cleveland for sure. I was thinking of KD,
But where?
but where? You know what I mean? Do you just
He
say
skipped out on
OKC?
OKC. Brooklyn ain't going to give him one. Didn't do anything there. Phoenix will probably give him one because of the way that Matt Ishbia loves Kevin Durant.
I don't know if he gets one there, but I mean, listen, he's certainly, he's one of the all-time greats to play. I don't know where though, where you would say he made his mark, other than he won those championships in Golden
Yeah,
State.
unless he was good to go back to OKC and retire and maybe be part of something special with this new young team. Do you think
Mhm.
Jokic gets one in Denver?
For sure.
I don't
For
think Denver
sure.
have a statue at the moment.
No, for sure. For sure, Jokic gets
I
one.
think
For
Mutombo should
sure.
get a statue somewhere.
I
I
agree with
think
that
I think
too.
at the Basketball Hall of Fame they should do something there to honor him. Just thinking of Denver right there. In Boston, they only have Bill Russell is the only player with a statue. Red Auerbach's got a statue. And then there's like a memorial plaque.
Larry doesn't
No,
have one?
there's a memorial plaque with Larry Bird's Converse cons, but there's not a statue of him. The statue of him is in Indiana, is a college statue. But I think Boston is keeping it so it's just Bill Russell is the only player with a statue. And they renamed the bridge after Bill Russell now. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Listen, I mean, Boston and LA, I mean, I get it. If you do one of him, then you got to do one of Havlicek, then you have to do one of Kuzi, then you got to do
You'll
one
have
of
more statues than people pretty soon in the city.
yeah,
They're
pretty
already running
soon.
out of numbers to play in because they've retired so many.
Yeah,
Do you think that Giannis gets a statue in Milwaukee?
yes, he should. He should.
They don't have one
He's
of Kareem or Oscar, though, I don't think.
no, but he should. He definitely
Is
should.
there any other players that you think?
Well, I think Luka is on pace. I think Luka,
If he wins a chip, then 100% he'll get a statue there.
yeah. Dirk, they just put up, right? They put
Yeah.
Dirk up. Yeah. Luka has been that impactful as a player. Um, I'm trying to think anyone else. No, I think we covered it. I think for the most part, those are the guys who probably are. But I don't know what's deserving of a statue. I don't know.
Well, like I was thinking of it through a championship lens, but Dominique has one in Atlanta.
Nick should get one.
Yeah, I think it's like contributions to the team, but also I guess a lot of contributions to the city that you're in. A lot of players do a lot of stuff for the community.
like Charles Barkley. I know you talk about championships and all that,
Well,
but I
Stockton
think
and Malone both have statues in Utah.
yeah, I think does Charles have one in Philadelphia? But he could have one in Philadelphia or Phoenix.
I don't
I
like
think
how they
Reggie
do
Miller.
statues in Philadelphia because they have one of Charles, but they're tiny statues. You saw like the Allen Iverson one they did. It's like a walkway with all these tiny statues. It's not like a proper sculpture.
Yeah.
But I think most of the statues that they make look pretty, like even the Kobe one, Dwyane one, look pretty unrealistic. But somehow,
Yeah. I think
ancient
Reggie Miller,
Greece,
I
they
think
have great statues.
do they have any statues in New York? They don't have any
No,
statues
there's
in
no
New York.
space in New York. There's no
Yeah.
space in New York.
But you'd say
Charles
Pat
Barkley
Ewing.
has one at Auburn as well. Auburn, his college.
Oh, okay.
George Mikan's got one with the Lakers. And
I think
then,
you can argue for Reggie. I think you can argue for Reggie Miller for sure.
yeah, in
I think
Indiana.
you can in Indiana. The Pistons don't have any. Now that I think about it,
No.
the Pistons don't have any statues.
Do you know what's crazy? There's a Stephon Marbury statue in Beijing, China.
I can respect that.
Dirk has a statue
Is
in Frankfurt,
Stephon Marbury?
Germany.
He's not in the Hall of Fame yet, is he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's like one of those guys. His contributions, what he did, and while he was in the NBA,
But also outside of the NBA.
outside of the
Three-time
NBA,
champion and six-time All-Star and MVP in China.
yeah, I think
It is the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame, after all.
yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He for sure, he should be up there. I think he is worthy of getting into the Hall of Fame. So. That's my guy, Stephon Marbury. He was a terrific player. Terrific player.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you who's not going to the Hall of Fame. BJ Armstrong. The Hall of Fame of correct predictions this season has not been going too well for you. I'm now up 7-1 after the Nuggets beat the Nets in overtime last night. I really thought I was going to get that one wrong. But
I know you did. That's what it's all about. It's about
Mr.
competition,
Jokic. Oh, absolutely. So let's do tonight's picks.
Okay.
The Celtics are the Pacers.
Celtics.
See, this is
Mo's going to pick the Pacers so you can get it. No, either way, you're good. So Mo has the pay. I'm picking that one for you. Mo has the Pacers.
No, I'm going to pick the Celtics because I've picked them 4 times so far, and all 4 times they've won. So I'm going to keep that streak going.
Okay.
I'm going to try to pick them for all 82. The Hawks at the Wizards.
Um,
because this is tough because Bilal could
I'm
have
going to
played
pick
great
the
defense
Hawks.
on
I'm going
Trae
to pick the
Young.
Hawks because I think the Wizards beat the Hawks. I think the
They
Wizards beat
did.
the Hawks. Yeah, I'm going to pick the
I
Hawks.
think Trae Young's got something to prove. Here's a good one. Your Pistons and the 76ers
76ers.
in Philly.
76ers.
Are you sure? Because against
Okay.
the other night against the Heat, you said that you can't go against the Pistons. So I just, Embiid and Paul George are coming back though, right?
I'm not sure what the scenario is.
I think at least
I'm
Paul
not
George is
including
coming back.
I'm not including either one of them. But what I do know is Andre Drummond seems to always have a 2020 when he
Yeah, it's
plays
his former
against.
team. It's his former
Yes.
team. So
Yeah.
we'll go
So
with the Sixers. Here's a good one for you though. Lakers, Cavs. LeBron doesn't usually play when they go back to Cleveland to play. And he after the
I'm
loss
gonna
to
go
Phoenix was talking about having some sort of illness.
I'm gonna go Cavs.
I'm also going with the Cavs. We're on the same path right now. We got to see if anything changes. The Raptors visit the Hornets this evening.
I think RJ Barry and those guys are back, correct?
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna go Raptors.
Same.
Is quickly back? Yeah, is quickly back or no?
Let me check.
I'm gonna go
Because
Raptors.
the problem is we do this before the injury reports come out. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. He's listed as doubtful, but that was 8 hours ago, so we have no idea. I would say if he's ruled out, I might be inclined to go with the Hornets, but who knows? The Knicks and the Heat.
Where is that in New York?
It's in Miami.
Heat.
So the Knicks are going to start the season 1-3.
I I say this because I have such high expectations. I'm only saying this is because I'm trying to lower the expectations of the Knicks in my mind. Because whenever you make a trade, it's going to take some time to get to the trade, right? You know when I say get, it's going to take
Yeah.
20 games. However, if the Knicks start out 3-7, it's going to be a full-out panic.
Yes.
So I said this last game. I said if there's a must-win for the Knicks, it's the win at home. You remember?
Yeah.
You know, and that was like 2 games into the season. Okay. Now they've lost. What, they're 1-3 now? Are they 1-3?
Yeah. 1-2.
1-2. Okay,
1-3 if they lose tonight.
Yeah, if they lose, see that then all of a sudden, as soon as the baseball season ends, I just think it's gonna be trouble because the Knicks are everyone's talking about.
Do you know what they're missing? You know what I see that they're missing is they don't get any more of the catch and shoot shots for Jalen Brunson that they used to. Everything for him is now coming off the dribble. Why? Because Julius Randle's not there creating some offense. On the other hand, the Timberwolves, even though they lost to Dallas last night, Julius Randle did look good, and he was initiating a lot of the offensive stuff that they were doing.
Hey, I'm a Julius Randle fan. I get it. I get this, that, whatever. No, don't forget, this guy was an all-star. This guy, when he came there to New York, they were, I don't know what, they were in a kind of a reorganizing type situation. He was able to flourish as a player. He took on that responsibility and he did it in New York.
He took them to the playoffs. Look at the team they had around him that first year in the playoffs. It's crazy.
That's what, okay. Then, well, he can't perform when the lights are bright. All this stuff. People forget, with the exception of last year with the injury to his shoulder, he plays every night. And what I love about players like him is he shows up.
He plays, competes.
He plays every night. So I've said it then. I've said it. I'll say it now. Julius Randle can play for me anytime, because he plays hard. He's giving you an effort, and then it is my job to figure out how to utilize someone who shows up and plays with the effort that he plays with. He plays with force. He forces you to figure out, do you really want to take that charge? There's some players where you say, do I really want to take that charge on him? You know what I mean? Like, and I remember Charles Barkley, he forced you to man, do I really want to take that charge?
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you deep down, you do not.
Not okay. And Julius Randle does the same. He plays with that level of force. And you watched him. I think this I think this team, the Minnesota Grizzlies, I
Minnesota
think they're going to be,
Timberwolves.
I mean, Minnesota Grizzlies. Why did I say Minnesota Grizzlies?
Because
The
we're
Minnesota
about to talk about the
Timberwolves,
Grizzlies
about the
game
Grizzlies.
right after you finish this point.
The Timberwolves, I think they're just going to get better and better as the season goes on because they're going to learn how to play. When you have two guys that can score 30 points, the role players just have to figure out how to play around them. And I like what I saw last night. Luka and Kyrie were simply
Oh, that Luka shot at the end is
yeah. I mean,
ridiculous.
if you're
But
gonna lose and you're gonna lose with a guy shooting a step back three from the logo, so be
with
it. You know
zero
what?
seconds left on the shot clock, doesn't even
That's what
hold
I'm
his
saying.
follow through. Like that, legitimately, I'm watching that game. It's like 2 a.m. I'm laying on my sofa. You know the vibes. But when he hit that shot, the way I jumped in the air, and I'm not even a Mavericks fan,
Right.
and I was wide awake at 2 a.m. all over again. I was like, what the hell was that? I had to rewind it and
Yeah.
watch it about 100 times.
Yeah.
One interesting thing to note, though, talking about the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, according to Kevin O'Connor, has attempted 90 total shots, with 53 of them coming from behind the arc. That's a 3-point rate of 58.9%, higher than James Harden ever had. I don't know if you saw the first quarter of that game last night between the Timberwolves and the Mavs, but he started the game by knocking down a ridiculous amount of threes. He was just on fire. He had like 25 points in the first quarter or something. He had it going early. So it's interesting to see a lot of the concerns about how he's going to fit with Julius Randle. Anthony Edwards clearly is trying to make effort early on to adapt his game to step further out into the perimeter, which also allows space for Julius Randle to operate. But you said the Minnesota Grizzlies. So let's talk about the Memphis Grizzlies, who are playing the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Is that an easy win for Memphis?
The Grizzlies are playing. Who are they playing tonight?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. No, I don't think anything is easy.
But Brooklyn just played an overtime game against the Nuggets. Now they got to fly to Memphis and play this game tonight.
I'm going with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And I hopefully Ja is back. But I'm going to go with
Or
the
Marcus
Grizzlies.
Smart gets out of his shooting slump. We'll see.
Yeah, Marcus is struggling this year. I've seen
don't
him
know if
play a
that's the
couple
right
times.
fit for him over there in Memphis, because they seem already set with Ja and Bane getting a lot of those minutes at the guard positions. So I don't know how that affects your rhythm when you're used to playing star minutes. And then obviously last season he was injured. I don't know how that fit works. But what about the Magic and the Bulls?
Magic. Magic.
The Bulls been sneaking up on teams though. Zach LaVine has been playing really well,
You
but Lonzo is out
Lonzo is out, yes.
till
But
Friday. Yeah.
I've watched the Bulls a couple times here. I kind of like the Giddy move for the Bulls. I do. I like it. I think I like the way he plays. I like big guards. The
Teams are literally ignoring him on defense. Like,
yeah, but I like
they're literally playing 5-on-4 defense. Joe Mazzulla would be happy. They're playing 5-on-4, but on defense, they just don't need to worry about Josh Giddey. Unless he's got the ball and he's making a pass, they don't need to worry. Here's one for you, though. Chet versus Wemby. Thunder host the Spurs tonight.
I think the Thunder for sure.
I think the Thunder quite easily, but I can't wait to see that matchup because they got to play
well,
with
you
Chet
better
at
watch
5
the
because there's no Hartenstein.
well, you better watch the first quarter because I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced with the Spurs yet of what they, what they're doing with their rotations.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder are at this stage of the season. I think they are a much better team than the Spurs are right now.
The Portland Trailblazers visit the Inuit Dome. The LA Clippers. I'm going with the Clippers.
The Clips.
Zubac looking like an animal now that James Harden has on.
I wouldn't be surprised though if the Trailblazers win that game, but I'm going to go with the Clips.
Okay, so the interesting one is second night of a back-to-back. They played last night and the Warriors won 124-106. Can the Pelicans get a win tonight? Bear in mind there was no Steph Curry and the Warriors still won. Buddy Hield was electric from behind the arc. But do you think the Pelicans bounce back tonight? Or are they going to lose that second night of the back?
I'm not sure what's going on with the Pelicans. I don't know. It's something's going on.
Well, there's no DeJounte.
Didn't I see both of those guys score 30 points? Ingram and Williamson, or no?
Yeah. There's no DeJounte because he's out injured, but Ingram had 30 and Zion had 31.
And they still lost.
And
no Steph Curry.
No Steph Curry. Buddy Hield got 28. Moody got 17. Pajemski got 19. Kuminga got moved to the bench. had 17, and Lindy Waters III had 21, 8, and 4.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. That I would have with no
And
Steph Curry.
and
I
Herb Jones got injured in last night's game. I don't know if he'll play tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I'm just gonna
You going with the
I,
Warriors?
well, I guess I have to go with the Warriors based on it, but I gotta believe that the Pelicans seem like they have the advantage, but I don't know what's going on with this team. I
Um,
don't know. I don't know what's happening with the Pelicans. I really don't.
yeah, I think first of all they need to get everyone healthy. I like the rookie big they've got
Who's not
Eves
healthy
Missy.
on their team? Who's
DeJounte
not
Murray,
healthy?
the point guard they traded for.
Okay, so you have one guy out.
But we've spoken for the last 3 years about how badly they need a point guard that can play downhill basketball. You say it every time when we talk about the Pelicans.
I do.
And yeah, they're
However,
back to playing
CJ
CJ McCollum at
McCollum,
point guard.
Alvarado, Yees Missy, these are good players. Herb Jones. These are good players. Like
Trey
what is
Murphy's
going on
also
here?
out. Trey
Yeah, okay,
Murphy's
Trey
also out.
Murphy. But you're losing to a team minus Steph Curry by
Yeah.
almost 20 points?
Yep.
Like, no. I know, okay.
I'm
And you
I'm
have two
I'm
all-stars.
I'm picking the Pelicans for tonight because if they lose, some conversations will need to be had. And we'll be back to discuss tomorrow.
Yeah, the Pelicans should win. They should win. I don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on down there. I mean, they had two guys in double figures. What is going on here? Unless I'm missing something watching Golden State. What am I missing here?
You need to call Willie Green and find out.
Well, it's not
'Cause
time yet. It's not time to call.
It's not time yet.
Yeah, but what's going on? Like, okay, if Zion or Brandon Ingram wasn't playing, okay, I could.
They give you
They don't
60
even
to combine for 61.
Yeah, you get two guys. We just talked about Minnesota had, two guys, when you have two guys who scored 30 points in your starting lineup, that's pretty good, Mo.
Mm-hmm. But
You can,
he would also he had 28, so almost 30.
and
then
I'm gonna tell you, and this kid, Yees
Missy. Yeah.
Missy, he's caught my eye a little bit.
That's why I think I called you the other day and said that.
Yeah, he's
the real deal.
Yeah, he looked like he has a chance. That young man looked like he has a chance.
Yep, from Cameroon.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
they've got pieces there. Like,
yeah, they have pieces. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand what is going on here. Like, what is happening? Maybe I'm gonna watch that game from start to finish. I gotta find out really what's going on.
yeah, do that because then tomorrow we can discuss what's wrong with the Pelicans. How about that?
Yeah. Because
All right.
I watched the game yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. I watched the game yesterday. And they were up big in the first quarter. So I thought, oh, okay, that's about right. They were up big.
Yeah.
They were up big, like 14, 15 points. I was like, okay.
I don't know whether we chalk it down to it just being very early in the season or if there's something more at stake. But stay tuned because tomorrow we will be discussing. So subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. BJ and I will be back tomorrow with more from the NBA. Appreciate you, BJ, as always. Appreciate you guys for listening. And until next time, get buckets.